Of that. The first one out, I will just summon up, is Elias Bakken from Manga Screen and Replicate. After that is Simon Fure Jørgensen from Playing Lean. Then Alexander Helmesberg of Mila Sis will talk to you. Tore Helland and Karsten Lien of Turtleneck. And last but not least, Anders Hillestad from Antagonist. Those speakers who don't have their mics yet, please come here. So first one out is Elias. Thank you.
Thank you. Here's the clicker. Great. I was looking over the presentation last night, and I thought I had 12 minutes. So 5 minutes, what is that? Just hello and goodbye? Yes. Hello, I'm Elias. I work for a small company called Intelligent Agent. And what that company does is it makes 3D printer electronics and software, and we give it away. It's open source, or we give away the software, and then we charge some money for the hardware. And the sales channel is an online web shop, and I want to say the marketing channel is a online crowdfunding website called Kickstarter. And if you go on Kickstarter, this crowdfunding platform, and then you sort by category technology and projects from Norway, and sort by most funded, you'll see these two in the center here. These are my projects. So there's that. One is it's a small screen. It's just like a smartphone screen, only it has USB and HDMI inputs, and the other is the actual controller. So before giving any advice, I want to quickly just run by you why I love 3D printing. So to me, 3D printing is like the equivalent, is like the mechanical equivalent of being a programmer, right? So if you're a programmer, it's addictive, right? It's like a drug. And that's where you get this guy, right? I don't know, do we have any programmers in the audience? Wow, listen to that energy. They can pump at a will.
We're up to 4, right?
Yeah, it was up to 4 last night, probably. So with 3D printing, you can easily go from an idea to a physical product in like matter of hours, and that's rapid prototyping, and that's the same with programming, and that's why I love it. But that's using a 3D printer, right? When you're building a 3D printer, you also get to work with the electronics and the programming and the chemistry, you know, for the plastic, and the thermodynamics. And everything is just wrapped up in a tight little package, which is a 3D printer. Okay, first advice. I was going to do 3 advice, now I've only got 2 plus a cat, so there's that. Cut that down. First advice is keep your backers in the loop. I don't know if you can see this, but this is a really angry backer. It says, you know, it's been 2 months without a comment. Is it time to ask for a money back? And so keep your backers in the loop. Before the campaign starts, use social media to trigger attention. During the campaign, give updates. And then after the campaign, when you got to deliver the product, you really need to keep people in the loop, because there's going to be delays. There's going to be delays, so the worst thing you can do is just wait until you have good news, right? So there's that. The other thing is, I said that the marketing channel was Kickstarter, because for me, there's not a lot of money in it, actually. It's a break-even thing, but that's okay. If you have a campaign and it breaks even, right? Let's say you put a lot of money and effort into it, and you are stuck with no real revenue at the end of it. That's okay, because you have this good story. And stories, that's what it's all about starting a new company now, right? Tell your story. And if you make a good video and you put that up on your corporate website, that's gonna look really pretentious. But for Kickstarter, that's expected, right? That's how you're supposed to do it. So you can make this epic video telling your story, and so once the campaign is done, you'll still have your story up there. And so that is a good marketing thing that you can keep, after the campaign is done. So that was the second advice. And since I've got 4 seconds left, here's a picture of a cat. Thank you.
Next one out is Simon from Playing Lean.
Hi everyone. My name is Simon. I'm a programmer. I'm an engineer. I started Iterate, the consultancy company here in Oslo. I quit there a few months ago, and I'm now in solar. So I started Otovo just this month. Go check it out. Right now I'm here to talk about Playing Lean. Playing Lean is a board game for learning about Lean Startup. Who knows about Lean Startup? Good. So Lean Startup is about innovation. It's a method for innovation. That's all I'm going to tell you about that today. I was also asked to give 3 advices. I'll cut it down even more, so it's 1 piece of advice. But it's the best. So I had this board game that I created together with Tore Rasmussen. And we made it work, and we made a Kickstarter campaign to print it. So it turns out for board games, dynamics are quite different than for software. So you can make software and have 1 user and it works. But to make a good print for a board game, you need to make 1,000 units. So we had to have a Kickstarter campaign to be able to print the game in a reasonable number. And the first campaign, it really fell flat. So I guess you can see the numbers. When we were done with this campaign, a lot of hard work. Tore, my partner, did a tour of the US during this. It's really, really expensive. And we got 137 backers. We needed 350,000, and we only got 83,000. That's about 24%, which makes us special, because most people who pass 20% on Kickstarter actually end up getting funded. It's something like 80%, I think. So, but there's also a clue. Maybe we did something wrong. Maybe there was something we could do different, and maybe we could try it again. So we had to go into ourselves and figure out what went wrong, and that's where this 1 piece of advice came in. So what went wrong was the timing. So we hadn't properly understood when to have a Kickstarter campaign. So I think from seeing from outside, Kickstarter sounds like a platform where you can have a good idea, you can put up a page and describe it, and you can launch it, and people will find it and get interested and back you, and you'll make the product. That was our idea. Actually, it's not. So there's an ideal time to launch, and it's really hard to do it this way. So most people can't do it ideally. But if you have a timeline of product development, you start out and you work a lot on your product. And slowly, you start doing some marketing. And this is the point where we launched our first Kickstarter campaign. We kind of just got the Twitter accounts going and the Facebook, and we pushed the launch button. And then we started doing the marketing, but we were not really done with the product development, so I was writing the rule book of the game instead of doing what I had to do, answering backers, like Elias pointed out. So it was, the timing was completely off. We should have taken a lot more time and built up the momentum and have a lot of people on email lists, which is what we did eventually. So for the second Kickstarter campaign, so the first one started in January, the second started in May, and both from the first campaign we got a few backers. We could use them to kind of as a starting point, but we also did what United Bloggers told us about. So we found someone who was really influential in the lean startup world, and they really liked our game and pushed us out on their email lists and the like, and that really worked well. So we went from 100 people on our email list to 700-800 in a couple of days. I'm going to skip this for now. So that's my one piece of advice. Think hard about the timing. When is the right point of time to launch your campaign? It might be a good idea to wait. So I'm going to show you the video that we made for the second campaign. You can, of course, go online and see the video for the first campaign, so your failures are also eternal on Kickstarter. So you're all welcome to see. And there's no sound.
I'm Steven. This is Tore. Hi Kickstarter. We created Playing Lean to make learning about the lean startup fun and easy. We're super excited to show you.
And he wants to help his colleagues to learn them too. He needs a fast, effective, and fun way to promote innovation at the office. He tried taking his team to a seminar, which was great while it lasted, but soon everyone slipped back into old habits. He tried to convince them to sit down and read a book, but nobody could find the time. Then, Eric heard about a board game that could teach his colleagues Lean Startup in 90 minutes. Introducing Playing Lean. With Playing Lean, Eric can teach his colleagues Lean Startup in just 90 minutes. His colleagues enjoyed the game so much, they never even realized what great innovators they were becoming along the way. So, how does it work? In the game, players have to do experiments to get to know their customers. They iterate over their product and try to sell for ever bigger customer segments.
In 2 years, Playing Lean has grown from a card game to a 3D printed board game to the great game that it is today. We have enjoyed playtestings across Europe and the US and met a lot of great people who have helped us along the way.
We wanted this game to be as appealing as possible. When you create a board game like this, the design is a crucial part of the experience. That's why we spend a lot of our time in adjusting the colors, finding the right fonts, and building the shapes. But the most important part are the illustrations. They create the story and they create the experience.
Hi, this is Ash, author of the best-selling book Running Lean and creator of the Lean Canvas business modeling tool. I recently got to play the game Playing Lean and was blown away by both its simplicity and effectiveness at teaching many core Lean startup principles, like the importance of uncovering what customers really want before setting out to build a product. I highly recommend checking the game whether you're a first-time or serial entrepreneur, as there's always more to take away from the game each time you play.
This is why we need your help. If we can meet the minimum factor requirements, we can get this game into the hands of innovators everywhere. Let's prove that the fastest learner wins.
So as I'm sure you saw, or you would see if I could have time to show both the videos, we put a lot more effort into the design of the product, so it looked nice. We had the strong endorsements and the backers, and this is overtime. I know, what does that mean? And this was successful, that's it. End of the story.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, thank you, Simon. There you go.
Tack.
Thank you. Next one out is Alexander for Mila says.
Funker det? Hei. Jeg pappaen til en skjønne jente her. Milla, 4 år, Down-syndrom. Og Milla en av de mange tusen barn som født med forsinket og manglende verbalt språk. Noe som betyr at vi som familie og de rundt Milla, vi nødt til å kommunisere på et annet måte enn verbalt til hun. Vi må bruke tegn. Vi bruker tegn til tale. Veien for oss, for vår del, å lære oss det og lære det rundt, det har tatt lang tid. Primære verktøyene papirbasert og tungvinte. Så der startet det for meg. Vi skal lage, og vi lager nå, bedre digital læringsverktøy for Milla, blant annet. Skal vi se om det fungerer. Og så lyd. Ja. En digital tjeneste som du har med deg så lenge du har behov for at barnet jobber med tegn til tale. Fra Milla ble født og vi begynte å lære oss tegn til tale etter hvert, så begynte jeg å søke etter nye og bedre digitale løsninger, ikke disse papirbaserte. Så nå gønner vi på, ikke sant Milla, og skal lage en digital løsning, en app som skal sørge for produsere og dele tegn primært, og så skal det øke kommunikasjon med enkle meldinger mellom barnehage og hjem.
Denne appen gjør det enklere og kjappere i hverdagen for oss, når vi kan gå rett inn og legge inn ting, i stedet for å bruke en bok som vi gjør nå.
Den digitale tjenesten til Alexander synes jeg kjempebra. Jeg tror den er enklere å bruke, og jeg tror kanskje det kan være til hjelp for andre grupper også, som gjerne har utfordringer i forhold til kommunikasjon.
Du kan nå være med å gjøre Millas rest til en realitet, og du kan være med og gjøre en forskjell. Ja, jeg har også blitt bitt. Takk. Takk. Jeg har også blitt bedt om å komme med noen tanker rundt min crowdfunding-kampanje. Det største utfordringen i starten, det var komfortsonen. Det å skulle henvende seg ut til kjente, ukjente mennesker om å støtte oss på veien til et bedre produkt. Det å liksom føle at du er ute og tigger penger, det er en sånn faktor du må på en måte bearbeide og komme over. Når du kjenner over den, skjønner at dette er faktisk eneste måten du kan kommunisere ut og få penger, så går ting veldig mye bedre. Så møtte vi på en par andre utfordringer. Crowdfunding. Hvor mange her har visst eller vet hva crowdfunding var for et år siden, for 2 år siden? Ikke mange? Ja, det er mange. Ja, bra. Da skal vi sportere først da. Det var for tilbakemeldinger vi fikk fra veldig mange når vi holdt på med vår kampanje. Hva er crowdfunding? Vi måtte oversette til folkefinansiering for å få folk til å trigge og skjønne mer hva det er. Så går de inn på nettsida, vi brukte Indiegogo, og så møter de da at de må gi i dollar, noe som da var en ny utfordring for veldig mange. Og så hadde vi en kampanje, vi kjørte den på engelsk, alt var på engelsk, bortsett fra filmen. Og det ble også en utfordring, for alt det her med amerikansk nettjeneste, dollar, det ble mye hindringer for veldig mange. Men den største utfordringen var nok det som ble sagt rett før meg her. Det var forberedelsene før jeg satte i gang. Jeg skulle også gjort det, startet med å bygge med en database på mennesker som ville være med helt fra starten, spre ordet, gi litt penger før vi gikk skikkelig offentlig. Gjort gode forberedelser på den biten der, det ville nok ha hjulpet oss bedre i gang. Så det anbefaler jeg på det som ble sagt i stad. Start tidlig med å bygge opp en database. Det har en kjempeverdi. Men vi kom i gang, og jeg kjørte bevisst og hardt på en sosial mediestrategi. Bygde opp en Facebook-side, en LinkedIn-aktivitet og Instagram, der jeg kjørte knallhardt. Natt og dag, posting, innhold, fokus på innhold. Hva vil dette bety for de som skal bruke verktøyet? Hvorfor skal du gi? Engasjement er utrolig viktig, og dette er en kanal som byr på engasjement. Så det jeg hadde kanskje gjort ikke fullt så bra før jeg startet, vil jeg påstå jeg gjorde til gangs bedre når jeg startet med å skape engasjement. Og med aktiv jobbing på sosiale medier, få det spredd ut, så kommer det mye ekstra goder. Crowdfunding er jo ikke bare penger. Crowdfunding er jo fantastisk kanal å komme i kontakt med målgruppa di, få kunder tidlig, og spre det og få media. Så kan jeg si at det sosiale mediestrategien, det blir jo en veldig bra mediestrategi. Forside hele forsida på Bergens Tidende, TV2 et par ganger, NRK, nettaviser som linker direkte inn til kampanjen. Uvurderlig. Men så tilbake til den største utfordringen, som jeg sa. Hva crowdfunding? Dette vil ikke, veldig mange ga tilbakemelding, vil ikke. Skjønner ikke. Så halvveis ut i kampanjen så fant jeg ut, ok, da ble jeg bedt om det. Laget en egen konto for Milases, som jeg kjørt parallelt i sosiale medier. Sikkert ikke veldig populært her i salen her i dag, men det var ekstremt viktig for meg. Hadde jeg ikke gjort det her, så hadde jeg tapt 100 000 kroner. Såpass viktig var det. For det her det mange som ikke kan så mye om, så du må på en måte finne et alternativ da, samtidig som du kjører en crowdfunding. I hvert fall funket det for oss. Så hva har crowdfunding-kampanjen betydd for oss? Mer enn penger, for penger betyr mye. Det gjør at vi har lansert produktet nå for Android rett før jul, lanserer for iPhone rett over jul. Som sagt, det har betydd mye markedsmessig. Ekstremt mye media og publisitet og engasjement, som vi drar nytte av hele tiden nå også i lanseringsfasen. Vi har knyttet til oss brukere, vi har fått tidlig brukere og kunder nettopp på grunn av at vi var såpass engasjert og såpass aktive i crowdfundingen. Vi har fått veldig mye dialog med målgruppa, som vi har dratt nytte av hele veien, også frem til produktlansering. Så jeg vil bare si det at crowdfunding, ikke tenk det bare som penger. Selv om du føler du feiler, så gjør du noe riktig med at du gjør det. Jeg tror ikke det kanskje noe tidspunkt når du skal starte eller ikke starte, bortsett fra det første rådet. Men gå ut der, vær superengasjert og ha en god profilering og synliggjøring av hva du ønsker å oppnå, hva du vil lage. Så får du veldig mye tilbake igjen for det. Og så vil jeg også bare si at hadde ikke jeg gjort crowdfunding-kampanjen, så hadde ikke jeg heller får jeg heller ikke prisen for årets livsvernpris 9. februar om en uke, fordi synligheten gjorde at såpass mange, også de som var i jobben jeg gjorde, og hedre oss for det nå fremover. Next step, new funding. Håper det noen her som har lyst til å være med på reise og gå videre. Vi akkurat i gang. Vi skal på en fantastisk reise. Så ikke vær genert. Ta og kontakt meg på. Takk for meg.
Takk. De neste ute Tore og Karsten fra Turtleneck.
Hello, or hello, I think we're going to do it in English. My name is Tore.
My name is Karsten Lien.
And we are 2 of the 5 co-founders of Turtleneck. And together with us today, we also have Lars. Lars, stand up so you can get some applause as well. And I think that the part that we were more than 1 or 2 persons starting this company is also important, because you get a lot of different opinions and you get a lot of credibility, and not least, you get a lot of attention from friends and you get a lot of impact. So,
so what is Turtleneck? Judging by the impression you get here, it has a lot of to do with hanky-panky and earphones, but we think it's better to let the Kickstarter video explain it to you.
Hi, alle sammen.
We are the Norwegian startup company Turtleneck.
And we use our smartphones almost without a break.
Earphones are on when we want to listen to music or make calls.
However, though, this tangling stuff, it really s***s.
Being stuck and tangling, it's not that nice.
And we don't have room for a separate device.
If, however, they seem to work all right,
they're almost always in this color, white.
That's why we invented the product Turtleneck.
It integrates on your current earphones, and it looks great.
So continue to make calls and listen to music.
But add some color to your life and some untangling magic.
Let me show you how to install your new Turtleneck on your existing earphones. First, you take the mini jack plug, you plug it into the tool. Then you take the tool and you push it through the turtleneck sleeve. It's actually really easy. Even my grandma could do this. And she's neither a technical expert or listen to music on any technical devices for that case. When you see the tool coming out of the other side of the sleeve, dismount and then gently invert the sleeve and you're done.
Now let me show you how to use the turtleneck with your earphones to listen to music every day. To start listening to music, just pull the tab down and put the earphones in your ear. Put on your favorite song. When you're done listening to music, just pull the turtleneck down 3 times to invert. And just crunch them together and put them in your pocket. Now, this is where the turtleneck magic happens. Watch how the turtleneck never tangles, even though we crunch it. Now, this is the turtleneck magic.
This was interesting and a bit embarrassing.
Yeah. Haven't seen that before.
No, and that was before we did this presentation. We had to look back on the campaign and all the things we did, and I think a lot of the previous backers and the previous campaigners have said something about the important factors. But for us, it was 3 things. Or 2 things basically: getting attention and funding. And funding is the most tangible thing for us. And as was mentioned by Miller says, media attention and direct links towards your campaign is critical. As you can see, 60% of the funding we got was directly linked to media attention. And that says a lot of it.
I can take
take next.
Can take some few minutes talking about some of the challenges, because we can go into the technical side of it. This was a Kickstarter campaign, and we faced some. We didn't expect those kind of challenges, but it turned out you can only back, as a customer, you can only back one project one time. And this led to like a lot of feedback from customers that they wanted to sort of buy more product, but it wasn't possible. Another challenge, as someone else mentioned, is that because you're so you need to get help from friends and family in the beginning. The 2 first days are critical because you need to sort of boost activity into the site, and this is where friends and family gets into the picture. And then you have to like call your aunt and hello, how are the kids and family? Yeah, have you heard about this Kickstarter turtleneck thing? And you have to sort of guide everyone into the solution. And a lot of our customers didn't know that they were a part of something called crowdfunding, and that they would get the product 2 months later. So 3 weeks into the campaign, we got mails like, "Where is the product?
I bought this.
Where is it? Why are you delayed?" So people didn't know it was crowdfunding.
Yeah. So with respect to rewards and attention, you have to stick your head out. You need to get your head out early. And when it comes to making the movie, first of all, it's not professional, and I think we used probably 100 takes
over 3 days,
3 or 4 days, just trying to get these shots working. And when you're at take number 50 of the same scene, and you run a perfect run, but you forgot to put on the microphone, that's not that funny.
Yeah, these things happen.
And so, but next time, I think we will do what Playing Lean did, got help to make a good movie, because if we're doing it again, we need help. It's real hard, and that's probably one of the advices.
One of our key takeaways is put some money into making a really good quality movie, definitely. A little bit about how time-consuming this is, because you're developing the product in parallel with running a campaign, and you need to spend so much time with these first customers. They're like your most important customers. They're going to be the ambassador of your product into the future. And so you need to sort of treat them like a new family. And our gut feeling is that you need to have like at least 1 update a week. And you need to have like really short response time on answers. Never more than 24 hours, like really a quick response time. And you get a lot of questions.
Yeah, and that's where my paternity leave came in. So I was at home with my daughter, typing all these responses as the questions came. But, it was a lot of work, but it's really important. So we were a success. We got the money we asked for and even a bit more. And as we mentioned, success factors. It's quite hard to find and pinpoint what we did good or what we did wrong. But we've tried to list these 3 factors here. And friends network, I think, is the key. Get them involved in the beginning, get attention in the beginning, get them to fund in the beginning, contact old study friends from Vancouver or from Australia, text them, hey, have you seen my campaign? Please back me. Because if you get attention initially, you also get higher rating on the Kickstarter site or the crowdfunding site. That means that other people are easily attracted to your project. You come higher on the ranking, so it's easier to find you. And then you get attention and more funding through that part as well.
Yeah. So it's potential to get more funding from Kickstarter internally in a way. You get higher promotion in Kickstarter internally. Media attention it's so critical. We spent a lot of time just mailing journalists, contacting them on Twitter, and it was surprisingly easy to get an article in a newspaper. So you just need to be really out of your comfort zone, like really stick your head out. Another point is people have mentioned a lot about quality, but it's all about sort of creating credibility of you as the people behind the product. One thing is like, okay, we think this is a funny and sort of a needed product, but another thing is like you need to build credibility for the people realizing it. And this is what people are looking for at Kickstarter and other crowdfunding sites. They need to like really believe that these guys can realize this within 30 days. And then it's all about photos, videos, high quality.
And you can see that some of the pictures we took initially are actually used by the media in their own articles. So you have already stuff that they need so they could print your article in a day or 2. So that's, you actually help the journalist making their own content.
Yeah.
So that's
if we can also take some, since there's no time for questions, that's just as an end mark. Kickstarter for us was an amazing experience in a way. We got customers from over 30 countries, sold 1,000 units. And just to put it into perspective, the first customer we got was from Saudi Arabia. He purchased 7 turtlenecks. So you get sort of like this amazing communication with the first customers, and they're so optimistic, right? They start to brainstorm with you, like, can you do this and do this? Yeah, we have to get back to you. And you sort of start to think, why do we have sort of the best customers in the world? Yeah. But this is just the way it is with these people that are discovering you. So
yeah, they are actually your best ambassadors, your best customers, your co-inventors. They tell us what colors we should make. They ask us to make add-ons. So So just find ways to involve your customers, and they will be your best customers in the future. Yeah. So
well, that was it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There you go. Yeah. Okay, next one out is Anders from Antagonist.
Yes. So I'm the CEO of Antagonist, and we did this crowdfunding campaign for a game called Through the Woods. It's a third-person horror adventure game set in a Norwegian forest, and you play as a mother, and your child has been kidnapped by old Eric. So, just to give you a short snippet of what the sound. Could we get sound? Yeah. This is a little clip from our campaign.
Oh God, no. No! Oh God, no. No!
A little bit further.
Oh God, no. No! Shit, no, no, no.
For the past few years, I have become a little too nostalgic for a certain genre of video games. Third-person survival horror. Seems my memories of such classic horror games like Resident Evil or Silent Hill are doomed to remain that way, as my memories. Here at Antagonist, we miss the slow-paced tension.
Oh well. Seems like we have some technical issues. This is how the game looked when we started the campaign, and this is how the game looks now today, 7 months later. So there's been some developments with the money we got. So our challenges for doing this campaign, main thing is discoverability, actually getting awareness out that we have a campaign, especially for games. So we went to a lot of conferences in San Francisco and elsewhere to try and build some awareness of what we were making. This helped us to get a lot of press and also, more importantly, get to know the end consumer, because that's who we're selling to. It's essentially a pre-order. We got some decent press. We were some of the best things they've seen there. We also got a lot of attention from consumers who helped become our ambassadors, which was essential to launch a campaign. These are some of the quotes we got from press before we launched the campaign, because we didn't want to talk about that we were going on Kickstarter, because for games, it's impossible to get funding, nor to get attention when you have a campaign. This thing is going automatically, so so that was the time we launched the campaign. That was the last possible moment we could launch it, because else we would have to wait 2-3 months because of what's happening in the game sphere in media. We focused on selling ourselves, because you are the product as much as the product you're selling. So we focused on being very Norwegian and making people feel like they were part of something and joining a community. And we kept saying, keep joining us around the campfire for the rest of the story. And hot dogs are also important for that. So we launched a campaign, and it was going very slow, a lot slower than we had hoped. So we focused on trying to show how professional we are. We did custom assets where we went into Sognsvann, took pictures there, and extrapolated that onto the images in the game. So it's basically Sognsvann the game. We focused on showcasing. We were working with people who were doing voiceovers for the Walking Dead games, a lot of professional people we were working with. We did motion capture with Funcom. Just kept showing everyone, we're professional, we know what you're doing. And then we have to react to what you have to realize that your campaign is a living thing. So you have to be ready to take charge of what happens. So a lot of people started mentioning the game is called Through the Woods, but these are the bearded guys heading up the campaign. I grew my beard for half a year just to look more Norwegian for the campaign. So someone mentioned Through the Beards, and we were like, okay, that's funny. How can we go with this? We didn't really think of something, but someone in our community did. They started posting pictures like this on social media. So we had to figure out, we actually had a guy developing an app that we could release, but we didn't manage to finish it in time before the campaign was over. So we got a lot of interesting around there. We also got a lot of attention from veterans in the games industry, but that didn't really help us that much. You have to remember that you're not just doing a digital thing, so we went to conferences to showcase the campaign, both in Oslo and this was in Malmö in Sweden, the Nordic Game Conference. So that helped a lot as well, not just thinking digital. So what did that do for our campaign? Well, it kept going very slow. And we're getting very close to the end, and we're panicking, sort of. So what made it a success? Well, we decided that since our problem was discoverability, we weren't getting picked up by media. We wanted to figure out a way to go around that. We had to try and think something completely different. And especially what I mean by not being listened to by media when you have a campaign, it's basically because 2 minutes after we reached our funding goal, the editor of a large gaming site was on my phone even before I knew we were founded to congratulate us on wanting to do a story. So they want to celebrate successes, but they don't want to be part of something that could essentially possibly fail. They don't want to advertise to their readers, to their customers, something that they don't have control over. So we decided to do this. You can't really see it, but here's some more close-up. We decided to tell our story, and we asked people on the internet to help us create awareness of what we're doing, since media wouldn't do it. In a day, we got 150,000 people to view our story, and it trended on the front side of Reddit. We weren't technically allowed to do that, but we asked we asked the mods, and we kind of bent the rules because you're not allowed to advertise your Kickstarter campaign. We didn't. We advertised or asked people to advertise that we existed. That we were doing a Kickstarter campaign was the second thing. It wasn't the important thing of the story we were telling. So what that did for our campaign, as well as a couple of other things, was this. It was a really nice boost we got there at the end to help us reach the target. And we raised 43,000. We got our first customers. So what we learned from doing this campaign is to never give up. Get your whole team involved, because someone mentioned that a lot of people don't know what crowdfunding is. That could be your team. We learned that towards the end. They didn't understand the importance of social media and working to get the whole campaign finished. And was it worth it for us? Well, it was the right time for us as a company. It increased awareness for us. We went from having offers from 3 publishers to 20. Like Laga mentioned, we now are in touch with Felix or PewDiePie because we were selected for several other things. And it kept just increasing awareness for us as a complete startup. It was the right thing to do. Funding-wise, very little compared to our entire budget, but the attention you get from it, that's what really helped. And the last thing I wanted to leave on was one of the lessons to have is to always celebrate your successes. Thanks.
I would recommend everybody to check out all the presenters here, their website on Facebook. Some of them have a stand outside, so you can visit them there. If you want to have more tips, you can grab them and talk with them during lunch. Now we have the last session before lunch, and that's Gaut and Christian, who are Bidra's own crowdfunding evangelists, and who will tell you how to develop a successful crowdfunding campaign.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello, my name is Gaute Kokvold. I'm an editor at Bidra.no. I've been working at Bidra for approximately a year now, and I'm also a co-founder of Demand the Source. And my background is from innovation and business development here at Oslo School of Management.
Hi, I'm Christian. I work for Bidra.no. I recently delivered my master thesis in crowdfunding, where my advisor was Professor Rotem. The campaign title was What Influenced Crowdfunding Campaign Success? I looked at 3 digital sources, empirical research, the platform themselves, news, blogs, and articles to look for the answer. I ended up with over 200 sources, which were sampled, analyzed, and compared, and ended up with a total of 25 unique success variables, where 5 of them were described by all sources. In the last month, I've been working with Bidra.no and Gaute, and I've been able to put my findings to the test and see if they're really true, and also helping new projects, advising them on how to succeed, and kind of calling them, giving them feedbacks, and trying to help them in whatever way they need. In this presentation, we're just going to go through like a basic guide on how to succeed with a crowdfunding campaign in the light of the thesis and in the light of Bidra.no. In Norway, really, we are really skeptical. Both me, Rotem, Gaute, and Olav knows this. The first thing people ask us about is always the risks and never the potential about crowdfunding. This really surprises me. So we start with the most, and maybe one of the most important steps in the campaign, and really in Norway, that's building trust. You need to build trust. That's the first hurdle you need to get past. And really just making people believe your campaign. And the first thing there is actually how much you're going to pledge, how much money you ask for. If you ask for $100 million, or if you ask for $1 million, if you ask for $5,000, it makes the difference. On the slide, you can see a Bergen meat company asking for 500,000 kroner, not really that much. But below you have the modest vegans from Trondheim asking for 5,000. They got them in 4 days. That's a huge difference.
So it's all about building trust, and who trusts you the most? It's probably your friends, your family. I don't like the word fools, but the people around you that you know, they already trust you. So you have to use the people that trust you already. Every time we see a new face, we quickly subconsciously analyze how trustworthy is the face and how potentially threatening is it. So it's really important to show your face. And to show your face, you could use a lot of different communication forms. With the internet, information is flowing rapidly, and we have to really concentrate if we're to read something. So that's why the use of images and movies are really good for informing people what you're creating, what you're building, who you are, and the process you're going to engage in. And also the use of movies, as Rotem talked about earlier, it gives you a lot of more attention in the funding process. And keep it clean. You might be tempted to use Adobe Photoshop, but if you are to do it, then make it clean, yeah. So, when you're live, what happens?
It all starts with planning. It was probably, yeah, you mentioned it earlier. Planning is really the key. Because 72% of our traffic comes from social media. So it means you actually need to have a social media strategy or social media plan from the start. Identifying your backers, identifying the communities, knowing who to reach out, and actually reaching out to them before the campaign, or at least in the very early beginning. And a really important thing is to keep everyone in the loop. It's been repeated, but it's the most important thing. Keep it updated, inform, give news, anything happens, tell people about it.
Yeah, keep people engaged. And afterwards?
It's really also important to show people that you appreciate them. As has been told earlier, they are your first potential customers. Brag about them, tell people how much you appreciate them on Twitter, Facebook, use all the social media. They are your evangelists. They are the ones that made your campaign happen. Forget this is the crowd that actually makes this thing. And you end up with maybe a proof of concept, which is maybe more important than actually the money you get. You get a proof that people actually want your product, which you can take and get money from the bank or from Innovation Norway.
So to sum up some points, if you are going to remember something about making a kick-ass crowdfunding campaign, it's trust, network, and team. And TNT equals dynamite. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
And feel free to take contact with us if you have any questions.
Yeah,
or
in the break or have questions.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Then we have lunch break now until 12:15.